Well, let's now cross to our correspondent Andrew Simmons, who's in Antakiya on the Turkey-Syria border. Andrew, first, what more details are you hearing about this latest rebel offensive?
Well, as you've seen there, the activist video showing what appears to be, without any doubt, a major offensive on Taftanaz airbase. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights, a British-based watchdog, says that this is a major offensive and it follows recent gains amongst opposition forces trying to get control of this airbase from where so many attacks have been mounted by helicopter using a variety of weapons. You have reconnaissance helicopters based there, you also have gunships, and you've had, as the video shows, you can see that tanks captured from the regime forces several weeks ago have been used to rain down shells on the base. Also homemade rocket launchers, a variety of other weapons. You're seeing here a very different sort of organized attack by the rebels, not using small arms this time, using heavier weaponry to take on the regime forces trying to protect this base. What we're hearing, we're just getting a report in now that regime forces are reported by activists to be sending an armored convoy to back up their forces to defend the base from Area, which is around 30 kilometers from the base. Definitely an intensive battle going on here, but don't discount a fierce response. You're seeing here the response from the air, where fighter jets have been bombing the rebels, and of course it's precisely the problem here. The fact that air cover has intensified, the rebels have no means of defending themselves against air attacks, and so what's playing out now is attacks from the air, and as is suggested by the report of an armored convoy heading in that direction, a fierce, as I say, response to the offensive that's being mounted by these fighters.
And Andrew, tell us more about the significance of this base. Just how important is Taftanaz to the Syrian army?
Well, as far as the Syrian Free Army and the rebels are concerned, any airbase is a target. What's happened here is that an offensive started by the fighters back at the end of August, and on September the 1st they mounted a series of attacks. They got repelled on many occasions. It's ebbed and flowed in terms of gains, but in recent days, as reported by activists, there has been an advance by the fighters. The significance, Folly, is that this airbase is used only by helicopters, it has to be said, but helicopters, as I said earlier, some are reconnaissance helicopters selecting targets, others are gunships, and it's known that the so-called barrel bomb we've heard so much about is used by the helicopters flying from this base on civilian areas. These are barrel bombs, just to remind everyone, they're stuffed with TNT and metal. They're very, very primitive in the way they're put together, but they're devastating when they detonate on the ground below. They're not particularly accurate. We've seen the results so many times of the appalling injuries and deaths inflicted in so many civilian areas. They're hardly, it's claimed by many military analysts, a precise way of fighting a war against a rebel army. So what we're seeing here now is an attempt to basically obliterate this offensive being mounted by the regime forces from this base. But it remains to be seen how effective. It looks as if there are gains right now, but as I said earlier, the regime forces will have, as we've already seen from the air, a very fierce response to this attempt to take the base.
And of course we'll be keeping a close eye on what's happening there at the Taftanaz airbase. Andrew Simmons in Antakiya, thank you very much indeed for updating us.